Not too long ago, we were talking about all the drama in the Elon Musk and Twitter fiasco, but it seems like things are taking a different direction. It turns out that billionaire Elon Musk decided to sell nearly $7 billion worth of Tesla stocks to complete the Twitter deal. We're talking about when he left things hanging after officially announcing he was ready for a huge deal with the social media platform. First off, let's take a look at why Elon Musk was forced to take this step in the first place. Alright, so the chief executive of the electric vehicle maker Tesla literally sold off a huge chunk of his company's stocks, and clearly that couldn't have been an impulsive move, right? After all, the $44 billion deal with Twitter was dangling around for him the past few weeks, no matter how hard he tried to escape it. So eventually, it's obvious that it would have caught on to him. Now, the sale of the 7.92 million Tesla shares, to be exact, actually started last week when Musk revealed in securities filings a public reversal from all his previous statements, where he said he wasn't going to sell additional shares to finance the Twitter deal. Let's take you back to April 2022, when Musk officially signed the deal to acquire the social media company, which honestly seemed like a pretty profitable deal and the kind we'd expect from the billionaire. Having said that, what even Twitter didn't see coming was when Musk took a few months to announce later his intention to pull out of the deal. And why did he do that? Well, Musk cited concerns about its accounting of fake users. But was that an excuse or an actual concern? His intentions seemed pretty debatable. In fact, other than Musk being so hesitant about the deal, the news shifted to the deep plunge in shares of technology companies, which also included Tesla, which was the primary source of his wealth. Up next, watch how Twitter decided to take a stand and sue the billionaire. Of course, the social media platform wasn't gonna sit down and accept his decision blindly. Like, he signed an official deal, followed by a public announcement, only to back out a few months later? Well, obviously that didn't sit well with Twitter, who sued Musk and practically forced him to close the deal through a kind of provision of the contract, which is basically special performance. So that's where a judge in the Delaware Chancery Court is going to decide whether he should follow through on his acquisition or not. And well, that decision isn't out until October of this year. To add up, in a recent tweet, Musk announced that he sold his shares because in the, let's just say hopefully unlikely, event that Twitter actually manages to force the deal to close and some equity partners don't come through, it's important he manages to avoid an emergency sale of Tesla stock. And that's coming from the richest man in the world, but it's important to consider that a lot of his wealth is actually tied up in the shares of Tesla. Well, he did say that he's going to buy more Tesla stock if somehow his deal to buy Twitter doesn't close. Moving on, let's take a look at how Musk's been managing his wealth and finances. Alright, so back in April, he sold about $8.5 billion of shares in Tesla to somehow help fund the deal. And yes, that's before he tweeted that he had no further sales planned. Now, just this week, Twitter's shares were up by almost 4% at the close of trading, which is still far below the actual offer Musk made, which was $54.20 per share. And Tesla's shares also rose by almost 4%. So other than the $13 billion in debt, Musk says that he was going to pay for the Twitter acquisition with almost $33.5 billion in cash. And that was going to be through a combination of some of his own funds, some third-party investors, and a partnership with other Twitter shareholders. Now, he's already signed a list of Silicon Valley heavyweights, which also includes the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz and the tech mogul Larry Ellison. Yep, they've committed about $7.1 billion towards the deal, and they're not the only ones backing him up. He's also got some cryptocurrency companies, sovereign wealth funds, family offices, property firms, and mutual fund companies. So while this may seem like a pretty big financial mess, which it is, Musk seems to have things under control, or at least that's the impression he's giving out. Now, what can we expect to happen next? Well, clearly Musk has his doubts over the way Twitter accounts for its number of fake users. But Twitter has managed to defend its process, also saying that it includes proprietary and confidential information. Now, just over the past few weeks, Twitter and Musk have actually gone over the details of the deal once again. And Musk came up with some counterclaims last week against Twitter, going all the way to even accuse the company of committing fraud and forcing him into a sale. And well, Twitter's chairman, Bret Taylor, precisely addressed his claims, saying that they're factually inaccurate, legally insufficient, and commercially irrelevant. At the same time, Musk seems to have struck a more open tone towards the possibility of even going ahead with the deal. Just last week at Tesla's investment Investor Day, he talked about all the changes he would make to Twitter if he ran it. Changing your mind again, Mr. Musk. In fact, one of his recent tweets read, "Twitter simply provides their method of sampling 100 accounts and how they're confirmed to be real. The deal should proceed on original terms." It looks like Musk is just claiming that if Twitter somehow managed to deal with his original concern, then the deal should just resume as planned. But with Musk selling $7 billion worth of Tesla stocks and Twitter suing the billionaire, is it even possible to go back to the original deal without any legal obligations? Here's the plot twist. Elon's still keeping his options open. It looks like the pressure might not be getting to him because he's still exploring other options. Yep, he's not selling everything he's got to save his legal battles. And his response? X.com. Now, we all know that Musk has an affinity for the letter X, and now, if he's talking about a desire to create a rival service, there's definitely something to back that up. Meanwhile, Twitter has also talked about this possibility, saying it's the reason they're resisting his demands for confidential information. And that makes sense because if he's talking about either running Twitter or starting a whole new social media platform altogether, Twitter's going to be a little suspicious about his intentions. Really care about the number of fake users, or is that just an excuse to get some confidential user information out of Twitter? With that said, here's what the experts have to say about the situation. Well, in reality, we all have a lot to say about the situation, but legal analysts know it best, and they're saying that Twitter's argument is much stronger than Musk's. Having said that, they're still questioning whether a judge would actually be willing to order him to close the deal. Why? Because even now, we're not so sure that even after a judge's order, Musk is going to follow through with the verdict. After all, he has a pretty controversial history of messing with legal battles. Now his sale of Tesla's stock may somehow lessen those doubts, because it shows that maybe he realizes the intensity of the situation and is taking active measures to save what he's got while he can. Ann M. Lipton, a professor of corporate governance at Tulane Law School, says that his abrupt and massive sales actually make his position clear, that he's willing to honor court orders. But when do we know that for sure? If you know anything about Elon Musk, you know how unpredictable he can be. Meanwhile, Gene Munster, a former technology analyst and managing partner at Loop Ventures, says that the odds of Musk buying Twitter are at 75%, and this is definitely going to be a headwind for Tesla in the near future. And if we're talking about long-term plans, Gene says that all that matters is deliveries and gross margins. Right now, Musk, at the age of 51, has sold over $32 billion worth of stock in Tesla in just the last 10 months. In fact, Tesla's shares have also risen by 35% from recent lows we saw in May, even though they're still down by 20% this year. $250 billion fortune, Musk is the world's richest person. But sadly, his wealth has fallen by around $20 billion just this year with the recent decline in Tesla shares. That's a wrap for this video. What's your take on the Twitter versus Elon Musk battle? Do you think Musk is going to have to close the deal with Twitter? Or are we going to see his new social media platform soon? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.